This is Lauren Fogelman at ExpertSportsPerformance.com, working with highly driven, motivated athletes on having more focus, confidence, and the ability to effectively deal with distractions when competing in order to put all of their focus and energy on the moment, staying present, and having winning results. Today's topic is whether you're a high-performing athlete. Now, we've all heard of the buzzword peak performance, and there's a difference between peak performance and high performance. It's just a little bit of a shift in approach and strategy. Now, peak performance requires a burst of energy in order to peak and really have that optimal performance for a short period of time. And then you come back down, you have a rest or recovery period, or you crash and burn, whatever it might be for you. But there's all these highs and lows. What that does is actually sap your energy for the long run and the duration, so that by the time you're at the end of your season, you are burnt out and there's very little left to give. You really need to have that rest and recovery time because of the fact that your energy hasn't been managed that well throughout the whole season. But I want to really introduce this new approach and concept of high performance, which is taking a lot of what you're already doing well. So many athletes are already dialed in, and just shifting it a little bit in order to go ahead and perform smarter, not harder. Therefore, with high performance, the goal is to really build that endurance and maintain a high level of performance in order to go ahead and have incremental shifts up in your performance, continuing to improve better and better. And it's really by leveling out that energy that you're going to be able to sustain your performance at a maximum output level the entire season through, as opposed to having those peaks and valleys. So there's three different pieces that I see that really encompass a comprehensive program for high-performing athletes. The first one is, of course, psychology. And psychology is really about your attitude. And what I want you to consider is, what are three qualities or characteristics that you would like to attribute to how you perform, how you approach your training, and how you want other people to perceive you. And think about those three words that really resonate with you, that you can apply across the board, so that every time you're in a situation, whether it's practice, a challenge, a training situation, a competition, working with somebody else, you're bringing those particular qualities to the table consistently. The other thing I really want you to do is focus on what can you do to be more present focused, because when you're in the here and now, you're going to actually be much more in the flow, being able to bring all of your resources together and looking for opportunities, as opposed to when you're focused on something that might happen in the future, which a lot of times causes anxiety, or really still stuck in the past and something that occurred a while back, which you have absolutely no control over now, but could affect your present performance. So being present-centered is really the optimal for all athletes, no matter what sport you're participating in. And the third part is to have more positivity. How can you really have more of a positive outlook, feel better about yourself and where you're going, what you're capable of doing, as opposed to focusing on the negatives of how far you still have to go to reach your goals, of what you didn't do well, of what's not going in your favor right now. So focusing on three quality words that really work for you and encompass who you want to be and how you want to approach your sport, for working on presence of mind, and then more positivity are ways to really start to amp up your psychology. Now, the next piece after psychology is physiology. Now, you're probably doing a lot of the right things. However, I'm going to really challenge you to amp it up a little bit. That means looking at your nutrition. A lot of athletes eat really well, but not all sports across the board are dialed into really good, healthy eating. Basically, your body needs fuel, and food is fuel. Therefore, if you give it junk fuel, you're not going to be optimizing at your high performance and being able to maintain it throughout the whole season. The food you eat affects your brain as well as your ability to respond to things. And they have found that athletes that eat a healthier whole foods diet have a much faster response and are able to strategically approach things in a much better way than athletes that have that junk food, fast food diet. And I know it takes a little bit more effort when you're on the road, but if you're really committed to high performance, you're going to do whatever it takes because you want to be the best possible and give yourself that edge. The next part is sleep. Bottom line, just like you work out in a certain way and you give your body rest and recovery periods, your brain needs to have 8 hours of sleep. Now, that is the exception and the ideal for most people. However, striving towards 8 hours is what you really need for your brain once again to have that recovery period to turn off for a little bit so that you're really performing at your best all around. The other part is hydration. Are you really drinking enough? And I'm not talking about sports drinks or energy drinks or about sodas, none of that stuff. I'm talking about just good, plain water. Are you drinking water? Are you getting enough of it? Because the bottom line is your body really needs that water to help you stay hydrated, to help you have that, maintain that high performance all the way through. And the last part is exercise. And the goal of exercise is to really understand why you do certain things, but also to make sure that you build in those rest periods effectively. They're there for a reason, and that you don't overtrain, because the more that you overtrain will affect performance over the long run, really setting you up for more injuries down the line. And the last part, aside from the psychology and the physiology, is productivity. Now, I know some athletes who say, I put in so many hours every day, every week. I am devoted to my performance and my game. However, when I observe a lot of these athletes, yeah, they're spending a lot of time in the field or in the gym or whatever it is, but if you're really watching them, they are not being productive. They are being social. There's a lot of downtime. There's a lot of wasted energy. Therefore, what do you need to do to really have your game plan? And that means actually knowing what your goals are. And then what I want you to do is look at chunking it down to a 30-day challenge for yourself, having those mile markers, and then what do you need to do on a daily basis to be able to begin working towards those mile markers. And by really coming up with that strategic approach, you're going to be more likely to maintain that high performance level for a consistent basis than when you're just winging it, and some days you're hitting your goals, some days you're not, but you're not really working in a productive way. And the other part is how are you zoning out? Are you in front of the TV? Are you surfing the net? Are you expending a lot of hours just kind of zoning when you could be working on how to be more mindful or strategic and in the zone? So that's something to really think about also. And it's not that you shouldn't zone out, it's just that there's a time and place for everything. And a lot of times there's much more wasted and unproductive time in your day than you actually realize. And let's face it, time is of the essence. Time is a commodity, and are you really maximizing that commodity of time? So you have the 3 P's: psychology, physiology, and productivity. I want to give you a 30-day challenge to really set a goal in each one of these areas. If each one is too much, just pick one. But how can you maybe find your 3 words and bring them into everything you do? Have more presence of mind, more positivity. One of those 3 in your 30-day challenge. In your physical challenge, how can you maybe improve your sense of self-care, whether it's drinking more, getting rid of some of the junk foods, sleeping better, making sure you're actively using your rest periods and not overtraining. And the last part of the 30-day challenge is productivity. How can you really become aware of where you're wasting time and maybe cut some of that out so you're really strategically using your time to the best of your ability, and when you're at your best time of day, really making sure that you're tuning in, and doing what you need as opposed to all those distractions that occur with all of our smart apps. So I look forward to having some comments posted from you as to what you thought about the high performance possibilities for you and what that would do, how that would change your game. If you're interested in the 7 mistakes even the best athletes make, go to my website, expertsportsperformance.com. Go ahead and put your name and email address in the upper right-hand corner. Immediately you'll get my free starter kit. I look forward to hearing from you. Lauren Fogelman, expertsportsperformance.com. More focus, more wins.